Hey everybody, this is Cody Jinks, and we are a couple in, and we are patiently waiting on who is to be my first bus guest for my portable podcast stuff was Miss Nikki Lane. We're playing with her tonight in Waco, Texas, but nobody knows where she's at, which doesn't really surprise me. We did run into a really good friend of ours, and he's a man, he's a Renaissance man, really. His name was unknown to me for quite some time. I knew him simply as Snowflake. Years later, we have become friends. Welcome to the show, my sidekick, Bobby Keith Kilgore, but our very special guest, Jeff Snowflake Collier.
Oh, thank you for having me, Cody.
Absolutely. We were waiting on Nikki here, and we were just sitting here talking about random road stories, and you've been on the road with us a few times over the past few years since we've known each other, going all the way back to the days of Dirty Dolly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, which was our...
it was our Dirty Dolly.
Our Dirty Dolly, our Winnebago. And we were discussing how the first time you rode with us, you came in as a guest of Keith's. He had invited you to come out, and you were worried about it because, you know, you thought that we were all super cool and famous and riding around in a freaking RV. But...
E450.
Yeah. But 6.8, that's what we were talking about, the motor. The motor was so good, it was a 6.8 V10 Ford motor, one of the best gas motors ever made. But you were trying to describe what it smelled like?
Oh, it smelled like a bunch of men and marijuana, you know, like just years of
But
it.
not clean men.
No, it was like they had been on there for 6 months and maybe a shower here and there.
That's about what it was.
That's exactly what it was. And that's what we were talking. We were laughing a while ago. It's because when we used to go out in that thing, we'd be gone weeks at a time, 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time, and didn't have the money to stop at hotels. So we literally lived in that thing all the time. Even if we were off the road 3 or 4 days in like a layover city, we'd have to go find like a campground. So we literally lived in that thing. But we were just talking about that. But there was another funny story that you were saying a while ago that you brought up. You remember?
Oh, yeah, it was, one of the first times that I ever got to meet you and everything. It was happened to be in Lukenbach, Texas, and Keith asked me if I wanted to go, and I said, man, that would be awesome. I've never been. I said, you know, you think Cody would be cool with it? He said, yeah. Yeah, I done talked to him, all that, you know, so that was great. And,
You're about to get kicked out.
No, it's a great story. Nikki, we're already rolling. Like.
Come on in, Nikki.
Come on, Nikki Lane.
Everybody welcome Nikki Lane.
Nikki Lane.
Is there any tequila? I was only one in.
You're only one in.
Text.
Okay.
They offered it to me and I got nervous, so I'm sending the text. I'm getting tequila brought over.
Awesome. Yes, absolutely.
So that I'm a couple in.
So you were nervous as hell because I had to rehearse this song, right?
yeah, it was actually one of my favorite songs that you've ever done. Still one of my favorite songs. I listen to it all the time. It was a rock and roll. And you said it had been forever since you played it, and you had actually was playing it with the guy that I believe helped you wrote it that night.
Yep.
And
Tom McElvain.
yeah, we was right there on Dirty Dolly, and you rehearsed that song right in front of me. I thought it was one of the coolest things. You know?
I laughed because I was just rehearsing. You thought it was the coolest thing that ever happened.
Yeah, I thought it was great.
That's
you
awesome.
know?
Well, thank you so much, Snowflake, man. I love you.
Absolutely, love y'all.
I cherish our friendship. It's been so much fun over the years. You coming hanging out with us, man.
Absolutely, many more to go.
All right, buddy.
Yes, sir.
He says there's no sleep on the bus.
No,
When he
there's no
comes out.
sleep, right?
Yeah, when he needs that.
All right.
Out, yeah. Thanks for being here.
Nikki Lane.
Well, what are you guys doing?
We
were wondering. The same.
we set up all this cool equipment. This is the first like bus session that we've gotten to do with all of the new stuff, and this is like you're the guinea pig.
The bus looks pretty clean aside from the...
We've only been out like 2 days.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
No, we've only been out 2 days. Did you get your tequila order in?
Yes, I placed a tequila
Okay,
order and
'cause
other
First
parties.
things first.
I do know that right beside you are beers. I don't know if you like beers, but we do have whiskey, and I'm sure we have some rum in there.
I saw that
as
you
well.
chose not to respond to my hilarious counter offer as to drinking beer for the podcast.
Oh no!
I offered to give him some LSD
Oh
Altoids.
no! She said.
I said maybe we'd see how the show turns out tonight.
No, I did. I think I texted okay.
Oh shit, you did.
I think I texted okay back. I don't have my phone on me.
I found him in my purse
see
last night. I was
tequila.
like, oh brother.
I see tequila coming in.
They were offering to hook me up with it, and oh wow.
Oh man,
Oh, wow.
it's just. Oh, there we go. It's just going to be a party.
Oh, wow.
You literally took everything I told you seriously, and I really appreciate that because this is a couple in.
I'm a
and
planner, man.
You were holding a bottle of
I was
tequila.
afraid you were going to be funnier than me, so I got some Patron.
No,
some other
no. This is we treat this as a this is a complete bullshit session between me and you. It is one of those you can interview the interviewer. Like I can ask you a question and you can ask me a question. Like
We've only done like a handful of shows together, but I feel like we have some good material.
we do. I have some funny pictures of you on my phone from the last time we played together in Asheville, North Carolina. You were wearing this like battle helmet that I had bought at a truck stop.
That thing was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. And I wore it actually.
Was that a Buc-ee's or was that a Southeast?
That was
kind
a.
of thing? God, that was crazy. That was like a.
Gosh, what was it? It was Love's. It was. I bought it at a Love's. It was $59.99. And oh no, I'm good. I haven't had hard liquor in almost 11 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So don't ruin that here.
I know. I'm not gonna let you taint me here.
Don't corrupt
Yeah, the beer and the other right there is completely cool. But anyway, thank you for agreeing to do this.
Thanks for having me.
I have been a huge fan of yours for a very, very long time. You are a staple in the Jinks household. My children love you. My wife loves you. They're going to be here tonight. I think my daughter is going to be wearing the dress that you gave to her.
It still fits her?
She's
a white
tiny.
dress
She's
in
a
winter,
Jinks
huh?
kid.
I was kind of daydreaming about bringing her another dress, but I didn't see one today.
No, and that's one of my favorite stories about you is we played together in Nashville last summer, and it was us and you and the Steelwoods and Kendall Marvel.
Ascend.
At the Ascend.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Do you know Bobby Keith?
We met yesterday.
Okay. Bobby
My
Keith.
wife's a big fan.
We met yesterday for the first time?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
How did you meet for the first time?
I was always merch, man.
Oh, okay. Anyway.
I met you. That's what I'm saying. I think I saw you singing.
Okay.
Singing.
My wife's a big
slinging
fan, so
merch.
she's excited.
That's good.
Yes. So we do sound check and all that. My wife and kids are there, and the kids obviously want to meet you. You go back because you kind of split time from Austin and Nashville as well. So you go back somewhere, and then did you go to your shop, High Class Hillbilly?
Yeah.
Okay. HighClassHillbilly.com, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's awesome. I haven't been to your store, but
It's vintage treasures.
It is.
I don't know if you caught on that I was not at most of the sound check today because I went to that flea market.
When you sent me this picture, this cool like motorcycle dune buggy thing with
Yeah.
But you go to your shop, you bring my daughter back this beautiful dress just because you thought it would go with her, and my wife this really awesome. She calls it a tote because she says she can put so much shit in it.
That's like a good mom bag.
Yes.
If I carry that thing around, it ends up like Mary Poppins. I can't carry it.
She
so I knew it was
carries
fitting
it
for
all
her.
the time.
It looked like her style.
Yeah.
I like doing that. That's kind of how I validate buying all the junk is getting to kind of pass it along.
I think that's awesome.
She looks so cute in the dress.
Yeah.
And that's good. It makes me feel good to think I can match up some stuff that, because like.
Well, and she's our fashionista. Like, my wife asked her, was like, can I wear this with this? Can I do this with this? When we played Red Rocks earlier this year, she said, Daddy, I need to pick out your clothes for the show.
That's perfect.
She said, I have this like cool pair of like black bell bottoms. She said, you need to wear your rock and roll fancy pants. And
Wow.
I said, you know what? I'm almost too nervous to try to go out there and pull those pants off. But because you said, like, I want to do it. And she was like, Dad, you look so cool. So
you're a performer, for God's sake.
yeah,
man.
I know, right? But she likes the fashion. That's kind of your thing. Tell us a little bit, because you drive 2 vans around.
Well, we do all kinds of things. This last tour, I'm experimenting with not quite having bus money. I wouldn't even want bus money. I need this 2 bus money. All right, I love the boys, but we have different strategy, different priority. They like to be on time and smoke cigarettes, and I like to antique. And so this last tour, I actually got my own truck, and I drove myself from San Diego to Canada with a bunch of girls in the truck, and we rode separate of the boys, and I think they were pretty happy about it, actually.
Bathroom breaks
But-
take less time.
And
They
so,
do.
but truthfully, I grew up like, and I didn't even notice it. Like you don't really think about where things come from until you start breaking down like who you were hanging out with as a small child. But we had a bunch of friends that were pickers. So we would go to the flea market, and we had a single mother for a mom. So we go to the flea market and we have to buy our dresses at the Goodwill or something. So we had a considerable amount of time to just kind of learn to junk as children. And, when I wanted to be a musician, I was working in New York. I was making good money. It didn't seem sensible at 25 to go back to broke. And so I just started buying and selling things and flipping them mainly. And I joke about it, but seriously, the first year I toured, I pulled up to Dan's Silverleaf in Denton, Texas.
Yeah.
And I sold 2 CDs and I sold 3 pairs of fry boots, and I left with $600, and only 20 of it had anything to do with the music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like a survival tactic for a while, but it's very habit forming. You know, we're out here on the road, and now I'll have fans that'll be like, well, my dad had some t-shirts from shows, and that can be really risky. That can mean like some shows last week, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or like Grateful Dead shows. So, but it opens up this community and this network of old shit. And for me, it tells a story. It's better quality. It's fun to do. And I flip it. So we've been running 2 rigs so that I can do my thing and they can do their thing.
Well, and I had watched an interview with you on YouTube because you were talking about that, because when you go out shopping during the day, like you just need a whole separate rig to get all the shit that you brought home.
Yeah, that's my dream, is like front end of one of these semis, just as like kind of like stack storage so that I can. And it seriously though, it makes its own money, so it's a fun hobby.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
So just put your band stuff in the very front.
Yeah.
And then the rest of it antiques.
well,
in the back.
and if you're lucky,
No, you got to keep your band stuff at the back so that the antiques can stay in. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
like you pull out every night and load in, and then put your
you
new
just get a
gear.
Oh, I was
trailer.
thinking the side door.
get a trailer
we
with
got
a side door, though, so
Yeah,
you can.
there
We
you
got a
go.
side door
Yeah.
on the trailer. Yeah.
That's
You get
all
the
need.
ramp and then the band stuff and the antique stuff.
You're good.
Yep.
You're good to go.
Golden.
It's pretty fun. It's definitely, when I went out with Shane Truman had become my manager for like my number one thing when I saw him was I was out with Social D.
Yeah.
And he had a semi that was half antiques,
Yeah.
half gear, and then he'd take it out and hang a boxing bag and he'd box. And I was like, wait a minute, your manager says you can do this? And he's like, oh yeah,
Well, I
he says
imagine-
this is a
I
smart way to do
imagine
it. I was like,
with-
oh, let me in.
I imagine with Mike, it's probably just it's going to happen. I don't think it's.
But if somebody's
Yeah.
enabling it and like
Right.
setting up the
Yeah.
infrastructure, I'm like, get me on the phone with this team. Like,
Yeah.
like they're enabling this. So yeah, but that's like, I like juggling more than one thing, and I say this, and I do mean it. Like I say, for me, it's like it's an interesting thing to be an artist or a musician, like for a living, because I want to make a living, right? But I also want to be true to myself. But then you get to make a record, and then you put it out there, and you have to be vulnerable because all these people are chopping it apart. What is it about? It is good. It's not good. And it just brought me to say that it's like, if you don't like my record, I know I don't actually care what anybody thinks, but on an individual level, it bums me out if you don't like my music. You know what I mean? But I go, if you don't like my t-shirt, something's wrong with you. You know? So
That's
like I can
great design,
separate.
yeah.
I can separate myself from the vulnerability on that versus my art, which is my whole. It's me. It's me represented.
It's a funny two-sided coin, isn't it? Because people like, okay, the O word is used a lot with you and with me and a lot of our friends, and talking about outlaw. When I hear your music, I hear something. I don't know how to describe it. And I was reading interviews, and Cosmic Country came up.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I think that's pretty
I think
right on.
that's really cool.
That's pretty right on.
I think that, and then there was also a quote that says, the kind of country that people that don't like country like.
I was gonna say that. I'd quote it again.
Yes, I did my due diligence here, but I hear that all the time from our fans as well. It's like, hey man, yeah, I really don't like country music, but I really dig what you guys are doing.
100%.
And you're right there, and that's the people that I like to hang out with.
But that's why I'll proudly take the term outlaw, because we're short on vocabulary. You know what I mean? You've got to find words that do. The first thing you said is, I don't know quite how to describe it. And that's the problem. How do you find words to describe feelings and notes and like vibe and like instrumentation all into one? It's like, I'd much rather knock that beer off the counter because I get all fired up. I'd much rather be called an outlaw than be called pop country or new country. You know what I mean? And it's no disrespect to anybody and what else they choose to want to be called. But I've been called so many bad things already. I think I'll just stick, at least that represents for us a state of mind that I'm such a big fan of your music and also how you run your business and how your team runs your business. You guys are gangsters. You do things exactly how you want and you do them creatively, and it's working out really, really well for you. And I think that has to be outlaw. So fine, give us that.
We're definitely the kinds of people everybody that we work with, our band crew, management, agents, everybody has a noticeable amount of fuck you in them.
And weird.
And weird.
Yeah.
Did you see my backstage pass says fuck off?
Does it really?
It has just my logo on the other side, and I got an out of my way in case the kids want to be in the crew. I got a special little non-cussy one.
Yeah.
But it was like, I'm not famous. I understand that not every bouncer is going to pay attention to my face. But if I've got a big old hat on and I just played for 45 minutes and you're still about to choke me out coming back from my autograph signing, first of all, you must have not been protecting my ass the whole time I was up there because you didn't even see me. So that side of the backstage passes, fuck off.
We're gonna need one of those passes to make it for. We're gonna need that to make it for the artwork for this podcast.
Great, that's fantastic.
Yeah, for sure.
That artwork,
because we'll tag it with that on there.
Cool.
I love it.
Well, now see, if I took a picture of yours, the first thing you'll tell me is this is a security breach because some crazy ass fan's gonna show up with a photocopied.
Oh yeah. I forget about that. We got to be careful.
Don't worry, I can handle it.
Oh my gosh!
No, look, every time I see a creeper around here, they're after you. That's so relieving. I'll come on tour with you anytime.
Oh, come on!
The guy hiding behind the bus yesterday. He wasn't after me. He'd run right past me.
Our fair share of creepers. My God, dude, we had some weird shit happen. We had a shooting threat in Nacogdoches.
Okay.
Not long ago, and then the next night...
That shook me so bad
it's
because
scary.
of what happened the next night.
Yeah, because the next night we had a big old dude charge the stage, get up on stage, get tasered, and once he ripped the tasers out, kind of shit.
Did you notice that was the same night that a shooting had happened in Texas?
Yes, there was a shooting up.
And it shook me so bad because it was exactly I'm sure it's a big decision. Is this just some drunk, crazy redneck, or is this a reason why we need it? Because it's 5,000 travel plans, babysitters, hotel rooms. You're making a big decision, but there's no chance you can risk it.
Yeah, it was strange, and I don't even know how we got on that. But yeah, that sucks.
Shit that we don't want to deal with on tour.
Right.
Shit that will make us quit our job, okay? Don't pull that one.
I had a serious question to ask you. I don't know if I read this or saw it in an interview online. Did you throw an onion-filled burrito?
Wait, who said that? Yes.
I saw that.
At a show in Chicago.
Yeah.
Who said that?
I don't remember.
Me or the writer?
No, I just
It might have been me.
I have these notes here.
I have to really, I smoke a lot of pot. I have to decide whether or not I threw it. I'm I've heard a lot of stories, but I did throw an onion-filled burrito.
I saw it on Twitter when I was researching
Who
her.
said it, me or someone else?
I can't remember because I smoke a lot of pot too, and I can't remember if I saw it online but I wrote it down because whenever I was doing research for this, I wrote it down, and my note was literally, onion burrito throwing ? I hate onions.
I hate onions.
What infuriates me more than anything else in the world?
Onions. Funny story though. After we do this, ask Cody about his Waffle House hash browns. It got drop kicked right off.
It's not a funny story. I told him to go get me some damn Waffle House hash browns. It's 2:00 in the morning before we roll. I just want some hash browns. Just a big thing of hash browns.
No chopped, no covered.
I thought that they were.
Maybe smothered.
It said no onions on the receipt.
It said no onions on the receipt. And I thought
so. You did your due diligence. You're saying I wasn't being an idiot.
Yeah. So
I
set them here on the table, and I go to the back, and me and my buddy are playing video games. He walks back there. He's like, "Very funny. Where's my hash browns?" I was like, "That's them." He goes, "Okay." He left. That was the end of it. And then I didn't hear him. He told me.
No. After I just calmly took them. I opened up the door to the bus and I drop kicked the whole plate out the door.
So that's the thing. I've got it. That prompted. Matt Penn, our pedal steel player, they delivered him hash browns without cheese a couple nights ago, and then they put the piece of cheese on it, and it just sat there, and he didn't speak for about 9 minutes. He's the scariest looking one in our band, and somebody was like, "Get her back over here." And he looked at her and he goes, do you see what this cheese is doing right now? Does this look melted to you? He had to she was like, ran back. But we're pushed it to the edge. But I had flown in to meet the guys in Chicago, and I push myself. I say yes to everything. So I think it's genius that on my day off, I'll fly to Nashville and do a taping to help my store, and then hop back on the plane and then go meet the boys. And I get back and I'm like, accidentally pick the airport that's twice as far away from the venue, and I'm getting the traffic. And I text, I'm like, is there a runner? And they're like, yes. I'm like, is there any really good deep dish pizza? We're in Chicago. And they're like, no, there's only a taco stand. I was like, okay. They're like, their burritos are delicious. And I said, I will take one, and I'm very specific, one bean and cheese burrito, maybe chicken if it doesn't look like a scary place, capital, no onions. And then I'd go to work, and I'm starving to death, and I have 15 minutes before I have to go on stage, for an hour and a half. And I got there, and why would they not get it right for me? And I just bit into it big. And actually, onion is fucking delicious. It's a great flavor. We have to admit it. But I just want to I don't want that raw. I don't want that texture.
Yeah.
I don't want to bite something savory and it go like an apple. Like, it grosses me out. It's like when the first time I drank water out of a can was also the last time I drank water out of a can, because it's very confusing. It's like, how long has this water been in here? It's not sweet. It's not bubbly. And I threw, but a man that was the timing. A really sweet, super fan writer had just walked up, and he was like, hey, my name is Dawn, I've really been waiting to meet you. I know you have to go on stage, but I just want to tell you, I wrote this article, and I bit into the burrito, and I slammed the burrito on the ground, and he thought it was him interrupting me, and he ran off, really fast. And they were like,
so wherever you are out there, she's sorry. Wherever you're at, if you're out there.
The whole show, I was just looking for Dawn. I was just like, where's this poor man? He worked up the nerve to come talk, and I was just like, and just, but I was going to tell you, because I think we got to talk about my dad at least 1 second.
Yes.
It just splatted. It just went but it was very aggressive. I was very mad. I wanted it to be a cup or something that would make a breaking noise to express to the runner that I hated him. But, but we played in Athens, Georgia. My dad only comes to visit me from about 180-mile radius. And I made a cardinal sin, and I hooked up with one of my band members a few years ago, and he was my boyfriend for a little while. Now he's not in my band anymore because he's not my boyfriend. You just don't do that. I don't know. You guys don't have, that's like the opposite problem male musicians have to deal with, weird fans everywhere, but I have to deal with cool band members that I can't cross the line.
I never thought about that.
I would never do it, but you just don't do it. But I did it. And so now we're going to South Carolina, and by default, he's got to meet my dad. And we get to South Carolina, and we're standing out on the back of the 40-watt, and he's standing there, and he's talking, telling a story, and he also has a bad temper. And all of a sudden, somebody goes, and then something hits him in the back of the head, and Ricky's like, what the fuck? And he's looking around, and then I hear, and then and he's mad. Oh, God, he's mad. And he grabs the back of his head, and he looks down, and he picks up just a plain chicken drumstick. And he goes, this motherfucker. And he turns around, and my dad goes, hey, baby. And my dad always shows up with a big thing of Bojangles. Oh. And he couldn't get our attention yelling down there in the parking lot, so he just started heaving chicken wings at the back of this guy's head, not knowing it's my new boyfriend, who's not going to be for long, but...
Oh, your dad's a character, though. I got to meet.
That's where I got the food throwing from, the temper tantrum.
It's from your dad.
Clearly.
I saw my dad throw some food when I was a kid too, so we get that from our fathers, respectively.
See, no, you better cut that shit. You got a little boy, you can't be throwing food.
God, no. Well, that's how when you have kids, you have to monitor your own temper tantrums. But meeting your dad when we were in South Carolina, or was it North Carolina? I can't remember. We were in one of the Carolinas.
We were in North, but he's from South.
Okay.
But you know that.
All right. That's right. That's why I'm getting my Carolinas mixed up. Greenville, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Hot Rod still lives in Greenville.
Still lives in?
Right outside, yeah.
I mean, it's kind of convenient. You got a small airport. You can scoot in and out of it.
Yeah. But I told you, I said, if my dad and your dad would have known each other 40 years ago, it would have been...
One of them be dead.
Yeah. It would have been the most awesome,
wild,
crazy. Yeah.
Male friendship.
I love it. I want to Dad wants to write a movie, so he wants to do a movie about himself.
Yeah.
And I've decided that only Matthew McConaughey with hair dyed brown could behave like my dad, like the way he is in like Dallas Buyers Club or True Detective. Where just like,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who doesn't give a fuck more than that guy when
Yeah,
he's on screen. Like, you know, I'm like,
your dad has that same look that my dad has. Like that guy will go to hell with a bucket of water for you, or just watch you burn.
yeah.
One way or the other, you know.
He's pretty funny, and like he tells stories, and like you kind of want him to be like my favorite thing is that he wants you to cut his song,
Right.
Marshall Tucker Road. And we grew up, and I don't think we were invited to the Caldwell family's funerals, but we went to them because we would stand on the distance and watch. And I don't think I'd ever dreamt of being a rock star, but I guess in a way I did, because I know at Toy Caldwell's funeral there were all these guitar-shaped flowers, and I knew that like I was like I'm going to put that on my wish list of things that I want to happen, is a big guitar-shaped, like, a rose coming across my funeral. But anyways, my dad wrote a song where he ran off the road in the middle of the night in his F-250, and I guess crashed it up real bad, and he claims that it was because the ghost of Toy Caldwell was in his passenger seat. And I don't really know that he is lying, but he does drink a lot of Coors Light, so there's probably a middle ground between why he ran in the ditch and the story. But I guess he's been known to write a few songs. I'll tell you something, the truth that I've never said publicly, because it's ridiculous. You wouldn't brag about it in many buses. But my dad got arrested when I was a kid for knocking on Lori Morgan's door trying to sell her a song drunk. And he tried to tell the police that he was drunk on mouthwash.
Drunk on mouthwash.
Yeah, he was sick. He had to take
Knocking
some
on
medicine.
Lori's door.
And then he swallowed some mouthwash.
They would have been friends. I saw my dad get arrested on our way to church one day.
No.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He had a warrant.
I love it.
Yeah, you know, on our way to church, and it's like, well,
Have you been to jail?
I'm sorry.
Have you been to jail?
Yeah.
You have.
Well, yeah.
I've never been to jail. I'm so proud of myself.
I wasn't there very long, and it was one of those. We did something really stupid when we were kids. And I don't even want to say what we did because
I didn't ask what. I said, have you?
Yes, we did.
You don't want to give anybody else idea.
But I was so scared. I was 16. I was so scared when I got there. They didn't even put me in a holding cell. They put me in their break room.
Oh.
Because the cops knew I was like shitting bricks, right?
Yeah.
And
they
He ain't never going to do it again.
they called my mom and dad to come pick me up, and me and my knucklehead friends that had gone in together, and my dad comes in, and my dad is, like I said, he
He's
has
more
that look
mad,
on his
yeah.
face, and I'm like, I want to stay in jail. Can I stay in your break? Can I live in your break room? Because this is not going to be good
When
for
I
my
get home, I'm
16-year-old
dead.
ass. And so my dad says, my dad handles the whole thing, smooths all of it out, says, I'm going to handle this. And they knew damn good and well he was going to handle it. We're walking out, quiet. Get in the car, cranks the car up. My dad looks at me and goes, that was your one free get out of jail pass. Next time you're sitting, I'll handle your mom. And I was like, you were the coolest person ever in the whole world.
He's like, I'm walking on my way out to the car planning to beat this kid's ass. And then I remember Sunday morning in 89.
That was about what it was. It's probably about 89.
It's like, I have to give in.
Both my kids
and
watched
let
me go
this-
to jail, right?
And now you should have remembered. You should have gone, I was just trying to be like you, Dad.
I learned it by watching you. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Man.
All right. I have these little notes, but that's what I was saying.
I have thrown a burrito.
You have.
Look at all the evidence that's on there.
I do. I wrote
officially
down.
can't ever run for office of any kind.
And looking
Please,
at these notes, I had written down a whole bunch of songs because I listened to all three records, right?
Really?
I listened to all three of them. Well, I have them all anyway.
Yeah.
And I've been listening to them for years, but I listened to all of them front to back a couple of different times in preparation to go back and to revisit some of my favorite songs. And I was going to make this list of songs that I was going to talk to you about, and the list got too fucking long. I couldn't. It's like I can't ask her about every fucking song on her records. What I will ask, because I love all of them, which one of the three is your favorite?
Of the records?
Yes.
It's really interesting because for me, more than any other art form, right, I feel like we get to control our chronology, like how it lays out. And there's actually a fourth record that's never come out at the beginning that's like a first one. And I feel like this will continue to happen. My most recent is my favorite. And so I feel like that might continue to be the thing because I become more developed. But for me, my first record I made, exactly how I started my career. I joke about it, but Joe, my ex-husband, cheated on me and told me to mind my business. He was going to make a record, and I took my rent and made a record, mocking him, and got a record deal for it. And that was the country record. And I went down.
Let's hit on that for a minute, because that's literally what happened.
That's what happened.
You made your first record almost out of spite.
100%. I joke, but I think I've made a whole career out of spite.
You learned to play the guitar.
I didn't play the guitar. I didn't think that I needed to. George Tricoulia shamed me into playing the guitar because I showed up at his house trying to get him to work with me, and he said, play me a song. He gave me Tom Petty's One of Two Martins, and I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
And he was like, you gonna be that kind of chick? And I was like, I don't think so. I'm going home and but I didn't learn until 3 years in. Because I started writing I write still almost a whole song before I go and sit down with a guitar. It's hard to get me to sit down.
That was a question I was going to ask you, how your process went.
Well, it changes. If I'm co-writing, it's like we talk about something that's funny, somebody says something that catches. Man Up, I really did accidentally stutter because something gets wrong with me when I get stoned. And I said, and the guy said, did you mean to stutter? And I said, no. And he said, let's stutter Man Up. And I was like, that is too stupid. And then I did it a few times. I was like, that is very fun.
No, that's a touchdown on that track.
Yeah,
that's like,
but it's
when you hear that, it's great.
Those things are accidents. But for me, I started writing my records in traffic and just tapping on the car and thinking about little melodies that were funny and that I could remember over and over again. And now it's kind of that way. I don't write down songs until they're good songs. I'll try not to record any non-good songs. You know what I mean? If something doesn't stick with me, nobody ever even knows it existed.
I kind of do the same thing. If I get something in my head, it just stays there.
Yeah.
Then I start working on it because, then I think, okay, that may be a keeper. That idea may be a keeper.
If it's sticking around.
Yeah.
And sometimes a year later, something will pop into my head, and I'm like, "Damn, that was good. I should there's a middle ground because maybe I should have had that written down."
Yeah.
But if I call back on it, then good. And I joke because my lawyer and my label, everybody's always like, well, send me a demo or something. I'm like, no, there ain't no demos, bro. Like, when I pass away, y'all ain't gonna mix them all up and release them. And that shit don't even exist. If it's right in here. I'll put it out when I want to. So it's like, but that's how I started writing. And I feel like it still really happens. Something happens that gives me 5 words. And I'm like, oh shit, we're gonna call a song that, and then I work my way to it. Mom told me the last time I was down in South Carolina, well, I always told you what Granddaddy said, can't never could. And I was like, no, you didn't ever tell me that. What did you just say? She was like, well, can't never could. And I was like, oh, can't never could, huh? And she was like, no, you never heard that? And I was like, mm-mm. And now I'm like, can never could, would never, wouldn't, don't never give a damn, And it's like, I'm like, that's going to be a whole... We are can't never couldn't for 3.5 minutes. So,
you gonna get credit for that?
Oh, and I was wondering, what is fair if you wrote the title? Because I wrote one of Jonathan's new record song titles, and he won't. I don't think he thinks I get any. I want 10% for that.
I'd say 100. Just
100.
You thought of the idea.
You want Mom to have the 100%?
I mean, you.
Well, you got to think about both feet here. You're like, okay, both shoes.
Yeah, that's
maybe
10%. 10%.
Want to be.
I think 10 for the title.
I agree. I would.
Yeah,
agree with you on that.
I'm gonna give it to my mom, and I'm gonna ask for it for Johnny. One thing I wanted to say, because you did ask me, and I just spaced out. But the reason I like my most recent record is because first was made on my own whim. Second was Dave Cobb was a producer on that record. Third was Dan Arbach. He won 5 Grammys the year I made that record. Like, I will never act like that didn't help me tremendously. But my whole career, we were talking about who made my record. And the next record, Jonathan Tyler, my dude.
Yes. And
made it for me.
Y'all basically, y'all went to the Echo Lab in Denton,
with
right?
Matt Pence, who gets a lot of credit. He's an engineer that is a true
Matt
producer.
Is awesome, and Josh, our bass player, longtime bass player. We worked with Matt on our 2013 release, Black Sheep.
Yeah.
He played drums
fantastic
on it.
Drummer, fantastic engineer, great producer mind.
Yes.
So,
but you and Jonathan, basically, you brought Jonathan in to co-produce it, or to produce it, but you ended up producing it with him, right?
It was so much less pro than that, in the sense that I had made a record. My label had paid for the whole record. We had done it just the way we picked somebody that everybody knew, that my label happily paid for, that I thought was cool. And then I didn't any of the songs. I liked one song, but it was a cover. So that wasn't so great. You know what I mean? And I didn't know what to do. And I said, I think we got to throw the record away. I said, I've never thrown a car away before. So, especially not a cool new car.
Yeah.
You know? And Jonathan said, what if you just came down? Because he was working in Ecolab, had been for years with Matt. And don't worry about the money, which is always what I think about, is like how I'm going to keep going back in.
Yes, it's very
And he
expensive.
said, don't think about it. Just have a couple fun days. And that's what we did. I didn't think about cutting the check. I just went and cut 2 songs that night. And the next morning I had the label saying they'd pay for another record because we had found something with the Texas Gentleman.
Yeah.
And in that space where Johnny and Matt were saying, well, what do you mean by you don't like the bass? And I was like, I don't talk bass, but I don't like it, you know? And I was like, I don't know. You develop a vocabulary in the studio. I don't play multiple instruments. I have a hard time playing the one I'm doing right now and singing. That's 2 instruments, by the way.
You and me both.
But you know, it's like, I knock at myself for not being as musical as my friends that can write lead. But then people started saying, well, sing the riff. I was like, oh shit, I can sing a riff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like there's hooks on that record that like nobody's telling me they wrote, which they do deserve credit if they did write it.
Sure.
But I now write them by singing them to you. Like that's fantastic. So now I have say over what my music sounds like, and that's where I feel like I finally took hold, and I'm like,
And I understand that feeling because that's basically what Josh produces. He's produced our last four or five records because I don't know how to write music. I don't know how to read music. I have to look at Josh and be like, no, it needs to be like, dun, 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 or make some kind of weird hand movement.
yeah,
and,
what happens?
Yeah, and he,
What's the fourth
he has
chord
to-
that could go here?
Yeah, he has to decipher what my face and my hand and the noise that
Poor
I'm making
vocabulary.
is, you know, because I'm not that guy.
But who cares? You've got a killer voice, and you've got killer lyrics, and you've got killer
call you-
melodies,
well,
and like
they call
nobody
you a
can do it all.
songwriter.
So to have somebody that rides alongside of you that can like speak your language, like that's taking control of your shit. you
Yeah.
know?
But you got a little more involved in the production aspect than I do because a lot of times I'll cut my parts and just tell Josh, you know what I want it to sound like, and I'll leave.
Well, me too. I need to get my nails done or something, or antique.
Did you say you had a question?
No, I didn't. And I think this is actually kind of piggybacking off of what you guys are doing, but I want to know because I would assume you don't try to have a plan, but you have a general idea of what a song/record is supposed to sound like.
Oh god.
And I want to know what song you went in there, and by the time it was all said and done, you were like, holy shit, I was not expecting that to be the end product. But I love it.
Of the record. Well, I feel like, and Johnny was like kind of getting on to me about this because I'm now at 3 years since the last record. And I like doing a lot of things other than records. So it's really hard for me to think about making one every year. I want to be able to express myself other ways. But even still, as much as I like to write songs, without an anchor song, I don't have a record. And I don't know what defines an anchor song. But for me on the last record, I knew it was going to be called Highway Queen. Before I had it, I just decided it was going to be Highway Queen. I was thinking I was going to get myself a Ford truck that looked like the King Ranch, but was called a Highway Queen for me. But I didn't. But I'm gonna. But you know, I had this visual, this whole idea of what that statement was. But it took me 8 tries to get Highway Queen. 700,000 Rednecks is what showed me I would have the record with Matt Pence and Johnny, and a song that night called Companion a few nights later was what kind of showed me like pure magic because it was 2 a.m. I was just going to show Daniel Kramer.
That song's one of my favorites.
That's the only time I've done a one-take song in my life because you have the freedom of like
take
finessing
that song
things.
and put it right into the 1950s, early 60s.
That's my like doo-wop / like
Yes.
Shannon and the Clams.
It's
like,
so cool.
And I wrote that song in my kitchen. I told a manager 2 or 3 back. I think I wrote it. I mean, it's a love song, but I think I wrote it just about like a manager, like just like a ride or die because it's like so hard to do this job. You've got to have people to like navigate with, right? And I wrote it really quickly, but we got it in one take. I was showing the piano player. We were very tired, but I figured if I showed him the song, he would work on a part by the next morning. And Matt come running in and was like, just keep going, just stop. You know, and was like, starts dragging the sound barriers around. And I'm like,
Absolutely.
Don't even try to fuck with me. We are going home. Like, you know what I mean? Not like thinking we're not going to try one time.
Yeah.
But we ain't starting no, noodling
all
on
over again.
Companion.
Absolutely.
I was like, yeah, you want to make a guide track so that some homies got it tomorrow, whatever. And within 1 minute, like the guys had come in and gathered into like a little choral group doing the Do Me Right. And it's like, those are the moments that like, because I will kind of dip out because they are creating a track and layering it. And I'm like, cool. Let me know when you figure out the compression, like whatever. I don't know. You know, it's like, yeah, it's like I'm trying to learn. I am paying
Tommy
attention.
Boy, like
but-
I'm gonna go check the specs on the rotary
It's one of
girder.
those, like, I know what the vocabulary is. I don't really know what it means.
I don't
what
know
it means.
when
And so
to
it's,
insert
there's
which
so
word.
much to translate, but
It is.
But I just feel like, but it's when I get that anchor song that I know the kind of what the whole record is. And I think Try a Little Harder right now is standing as that anchor song for me. Like I've got a song I'm working on and I'm building the record off of, but then there's something that quite doesn't, like I know that like on the last record, Jackpot is obviously the one that was like the most commercially great for me. And I had told the label, I'm going to write a conceptual hit called Jackpot. And they were like, oh yeah, we like it. And I was like, yeah, it's a hit. And then I made the whole record and I turned it in and they were like, well, where's Jackpot? And I was like, oh, it's a conceptual hit. And they were like, no, there's no radio song on here. Where's Jackpot? You know, and I wrote Jackpot in the last day, in the last like 4 hours, because I didn't know what Jackpot was, and I don't do well unless there's like a gun at me. So you know what I mean? So I was waiting until somebody was like, give us Jackpot. And then I sat there, I wrote Viva Las Vegas. And then I was like, is that illegal? Like, is that too many things like the other one, you know? And wrote it right there in the studio the last day. But I don't think that one or Right Time, I would have written those melodies unless somebody was saying I couldn't. And I was angry.
Don't you think those pressure situations sometimes bring the best? Because I know, Cody, you've had pressure songs.
When she was telling that story, I was thinking of Whitey Morgan. Whitey books studio time and then goes out there without material and
To put his back against the wall.
yes, and
Yeah,
writes,
I think he
writes
and I are
really,
the same. Yeah, in
really
that
rad
way.
songs.
It's just like, that's frivolous, by the way. Like, I understand why my label's like, but you're sure? And I'm like, don't you question me, I'm sure. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, okay, she's moody, get her the studio. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's frivolous. But it also, that's how it works for me. And I've said
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
know myself. When I used to have to go to job interviews, they'd say, what's your best quality? What's your worst quality? Worst quality, I'm going to be 10 minutes late. You need me here by 9:30, you better lie to my ass. Because the second I find out that it's really 9, you know, or whatever, you know, it's like, or 10,
Yeah.
I'm coming at 10:15. Like, that's just, and I know what I'm capable of musically. Like, I want to do other things. It's not that I don't love making music, but this is the tiring, hardest to get to job I ever could come up with. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I've got to, that's what I've said for this last record. I've got to live some life. A new song at the beginning is, sometimes you gotta run away to live a life that you can write a song about. You know, it's like, get up out of my space so I can find something to talk about. My whole last record was about being in a van. Do you guys see anything wrong with this? Like, I need to go do something. Got us a
I
room
totally
at the
get it.
casino last night. We played roulette till 2 a.m.
Yeah,
That's why I'm so
I
tired
totally
today.
get it. You know, I mean, it's because I'm almost 40, and you know, I know how old you are. I'm not gonna say it.
Just say it.
Oh,
Wait,
you're-
what if you got it wrong? What if
You're
the internet's
you're
wrong?
like 35, right?
36, yeah.
You're 36?
See, you
Okay.
did 1 year under because you
Yeah.
smart.
Smart.
No, I wasn't trying to do that. There's just
No, that's
down there
perfect.
around
The internet's
that,
confused.
There's the 20 going right now.
and that
20's
but
being passed.
you know, been doing this for a long time and getting all those miles and it you do, like you were saying, creatively you want to do other things. And you know, obviously a great mental release for you is going and doing your antiquing and going and getting things for your shop, stuff like that. This is one of mine. This is something that I got interested in because I love podcasts. I don't do interviews.
Yeah.
I stopped doing interviews about 2 years ago. I've only done, I think, 2 or 3 interviews in the last 2 years. But I felt like, you know, it's like this would be a cool way for people to see me get a
Content, controlled content, not in a negative way, the word controlled, but
Yeah.
nobody's putting you on the line asking you dumb shit or
Right.
asking you shit for the 15th time.
for the 15th time.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. So that's
Holy
why, you know,
moly.
I try to veer away from the whole question thing and
Yeah.
But
you got, it's good that I feel like it's making you a better historian of the music that you like because
sure. Yeah.
even just digging in and seeing the order of somebody's songs, it's like,
Yeah.
we don't listen to music that way anymore. That's what I like about, that's
Well,
how I know Neil Young's my favorite because that's the one I listen to the most in a row of.
Well, and that's the thing about your records. Your records are put them in, let them play, go. just you're done. Like you put the record in from the first song to the last song. There's no filler on any of your records, and as somebody that does that for a living, that's extremely difficult to achieve.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's what, when you said you've got to know what a record's going to sound like. Every time my label or anybody that works with me has said, well, what's your direction for the next one? I say, same as the last one. And they go, what? And I go, and then maybe at some point I will want to do like a concept record where I think of like a theme or something for the entire thing. But I've always said a record is a mixtape full of all of the things that I enjoy. I want you to feel like you're going to cry. I want you to feel like you're going to party your ass off. I want you to feel like you can put it just tapers off as you're falling asleep. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, we're just going to write all the things that happen, because otherwise people say, well, does this country song fit along this rock album? It's like, well, do you just play country music or do you just play rock music? You know, it's like, there are ways to thoughtfully ebb and flow and create just what all you're into. Some people are only into one thing, you know, some their records probably sound more like that. But I was listening to your melodies last night again, and I can't name anybody that I think you sound like. And I hope that's other than like the old school dudes. Like, sure, people might compare me to Loretta Lynn, which I know ain't quite realistic, but is my favorite thing to hear.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Loretta Lynn and Wanda Jackson are.
I love Wanda Jackson.
That's the thing. Are the two.
But it's like, but I think defining your own persona and melody style in a world where everything is trying to sound old or new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is what good songwriting is, and that's why people say they don't like country, but they like us. It's because it's real. They can't peg it. They're not associating us immediately with pop country or only Waylon Jennings. You know what I mean?
Sure,
They're giving us a middle ground of like, there's depth to your songs. Your big melodies are weird melodies.
They are weird, because I write a lot of songs like I would be writing a metal song.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and just slow it down that way. But hey, I don't want to take up any more of your time.
Well, that was fun though.
We both have to play tonight. We're in Waco, Texas. Thank you, Bobby Keith. Josh Thompson took over here.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to jump it, but I just
Bobby Keith had to go to work and do something, so Josh just kind of sat down. And anyway, it all works
We've
out.
We've got to do like some sort of visual so people understand what this environment looks like.
What this environment looks like. Explain to them what it looks like to you right now.
I think Hot Rod was taking some pictures as y'all were doing some
There's a
stuff.
taxidermy raccoon in the corner. It looks evil. I'm just gonna. Hey, listen, I want to decorate this bus with some taxidermy.
You know what?
I'm gonna get in here with my fucking power drill and hook y'all up.
This actually has that tiger.
They have a tiger.
They do have a tiger.
The other bus, huh? You guys let those guys outdo you.
They did.
I'm
We
just
normally
fucking
at this
with
time of year we
Decorate for Christmas.
normally have Christmas up, but we haven't been on the road in December like we normally are.
Yeah.
So we didn't have the stockings up this year. We normally have
Stockings.
We have stockings. Last 2 years
That's
we've
so
had
jolly.
stockings and
What
and
is that light
lights.
up white thing?
Oh, this?
Uh-huh.
That's our noteboard.
That's a noteboard.
Do you want to hear a cool story about this bus?
Of course I do.
This bus used to belong to Billy Gibbons.
Oh, really?
Yes, and
Are there any
it's a MacGyver bus. There's buttons in this bus strategically placed that turn it into what basically looks like a strip club.
You're lying.
There, look.
I'm not
That's
joking.
silver
See that right there? That's where
lock in your pole.
that's where the stripper pole comes down and locks in.
Lock your pole in.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
There's a bar in that countertop that raises up that you can't even see. These
bar?
See these lights right here?
Lasers.
These lights are
Wait, what do you mean a bar?
like pops liquor
like a
up.
bar, like a
Oh, a liquor bar?
Liquor bar.
clean burning.
Where's the stash box?
There's we
I
can't
know.
we can't say that. We're
Oh,
on the
sorry.
air. Yeah, nobody knows where
We
that's
were gonna
at.
put my backstage pass on the internet.
we got
Fair
strobe lights,
Oh
and
my
everything.
God! So I'm curious to see this. What's going to be crazy is that your kid's going to get a little bit older. You're going to be like, where are they? They're out here like, boonch, boonch.
They removed the fuse.
They took
We
the
had
fuse
so much
out.
fun with
The
it.
stripper pole won't come down anymore.
Who's they? I thought.
They the driver, our
They,
driver,
huh?
Nino.
They don't
Yeah.
like no fun.
Well, they probably don't want all y'all boys just bouncing
Well, because that's
around.
all it is. It's a bunch of dudes going, "Hey man, come check out our stripper pole," because we have a no girls allowed on the bus rule.
Whoa!
Because we're all
and
married.
Here I am.
You made it.
You made it,
Shit.
but
I like being one of the
you're
dudes,
not.
by the way.
Yeah, but
You made it.
Have we talked about fishing?
This is different. You want to talk about fishing?
Just for a second.
Oh, fishing's my jam.
But could we have a fishing tournament?
Oh, I'd love to have a fishing tournament.
is
Welcome back,
perfect.
Bobby Keith.
First annual.
I was trying not to keep you, but
Well,
But yeah,
I do.
what's-
I have to go curl my hair by 6 o'clock.
but let's talk about fishing.
Well, all I wanted to talk about was because you said no girls, and I was like, I like getting to be one of the boys, especially with things like fishing.
Yes.
And I entered a fishing competition. Well, I sang at it, but I caught a 42-pound red bass, drum bass.
Red drum?
Bass. Red drum. Oh, brother.
That's a big drum.
I thought, it was like almost one of the biggest ones. It was like the fourth biggest one. I thought that we had caught a bunch of skates by accident, obviously. And I thought it was a skate. But it was the big Holy Mother. But that's all I wanted to talk about was this one called Caddo Lake.
I'm sorry, I was grabbing a beer. We're more than a couple in now. Lake Caddo, yes. Lake Caddo is in East Texas.
Yes, well, I was just thinking about suitable lakes for fishing tournament because I sang at the great Tony Joe White's tribute the other night.
Yeah.
And he had this really cute thing going, and I was like kind of sad because we were supposedly going to go crappie fishing, and he fillets them all and he puts them in a milk jug and he fills them up with water and he freezes them, and then all winter long he cuts them out of their thing and he puts them on his little fire pit and he grills up crappie.
Yeah.
And I thought that sounded delicious.
Oh, it's great.
But I was wanting to have a fish fry fish tournament.
Yes.
And
Let's do
you just
it.
happened to be here, and I thought
I loved
Texas
fishing
is a good
is-
spot for it.
That's my thing.
What lake would it be?
We could do it anywhere because I live in North Texas, and we could go. Some of the best ones are. Oh my gosh, man!
We could also come to you people.
Worth?
Do you people?
No,
Is
Lake
anyone
Worth.
on a resort
No.
with 125 rooms?
I don't know. This
on
is
a
something
lake?
we could,
I'm asking the people right now.
Oh.
Like maybe there's someone out there that could
But
host
I
our fishing tournament.
do have a buddy that's a guide on Lake Ray Roberts.
Where's that? Dallas?
It's you know where Denton's at?
Oh yes, perfect. We've been talking about them the whole time.
Yes.
Just don't know.
Oh shit. Yeah, we were just talking about Dan's. Yeah, sorry about that. Between the devil's lettuce and the 7 beers. But no, we could totally do it there because my buddy's a bass guide there. The lake
See?
record came out of his boat.
Oh great.
You
There's
know,
crappie where
she'd
there's
be a
bass.
You'd be a great candidate for duck hunting as well, because you're doing everything that you can do while you duck hunt right now.
This is it. Yeah, duck hunting's fun. Just got into it.
Do you eat it?
Yeah.
Or do you actually?
You can. Yeah, I mean,
can, yeah.
duck is good.
Okay, fine. Duck is delicious, I know, but I feel like if I'm personally gonna shoot it, I'm gonna have to eat it.
You're gonna have to.
Oh,
right?
Well,
yeah,
just
you got
because
to.
it's like so cute, a duck.
Well, I know.
I'm all about hunting, and I grew up in that culture.
Yeah.
But then I started thinking about it one-on-one, and I'm just like,
See,
I think I'm nervous, and I'm gonna have to eat it.
and a lot of hunters use the term harvest because
That's the right word,
if
because then you're going
you
to
go out
utilize
there
it.
and you shoot a deer or you shoot a duck or you catch a fish or whatever, and you eat that.
Yeah.
You know, if you feed
Then
your
it's
family
all,
with it.
then I'm all
Yeah,
about it.
Absolutely.
Then I'm all about it.
For sure.
But I do think I'm gonna be a little sad when I see the dead duck.
Well,
so cute. I'm
because
just
some of them
being real
are
with
they're
you.
really pretty.
They are
They're so
beautiful.
pretty. Their
They're-
feathers are gorgeous.
Yeah, they're
Okay,
really
fine.
really pretty.
I'm in though, because you
Okay.
can get a cute dog and. do
But
the
that's
whole
it.
thing.
You
There
get
you
a cool.
go.
You
There
get
you
a cool
go.
duck dog because the duck dogs are they're so smart.
Oh my god, and cuddly looking.
They're so smart. All right, I wasn't going to do this, but we kept talking
Yeah,
because we're just BSing here, and depending
we're
on
gonna have
how
to split
how
this into
how it
2
all.
episodes because it's gonna. They're gonna like, well, they all stopped listening at 40 minutes. That's where the mixtape turned to side B and everybody fell asleep.
They'll
They're
be
gonna
they'll be
listen to the rest
fine,
tomorrow.
you know, because we can edit this down but you were gracious enough to chat with us a little bit. Let's just do a little rapid fire.
Okay,
Favorite food,
grilled cheese. I'm sorry, mac and cheese with bacon.
favorite holiday.
Halloween.
Me too.
Yep.
Nice. Favorite movie,
I really like Royal Tenenbaums.
favorite band / artist.
Neil Young.
What about Cody?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
He's
wrong.
Sorry.
It's like Monty Python.
You
What
said
is
rapid
your
fire.
name? Yeah, no,
He didn't
sorry.
have a 20. I gave it to him. He didn't pass it back.
Favorite color?
Oh, that one. I can't answer that one. Is that bad?
No.
I like all
It's your answer. Any useless talents?
Useless. I can ride a unicycle. It's pretty useless.
Wow. Yeah, that didn't go anywhere. It has
Yeah,
one
there's
wheel.
literally nothing for
How
that.
does it go?
Well,
That's awesome.
I used to ride it through the parade in school.
Oh,
Cool. Oh man. All right, what are you listening to right now? What's on your iPod?
What's on my iPod right now? Oh, this new record by Andrew Combs out of Nashville, Tennessee. This little band called the Ruin Brothers. Becca Mankari. A lot of. Nashville's not disappointing me right now with new records of people that are like in between country. You know, like I listen to a lot of Merle Haggard. I love old school music. I love people like Nick Lowe and NRBQ and the Byrds, like that cosmic country, like kind
Sure.
of power pop world. But then I used to say I didn't like any new music, and I kind of believed it. And then I feel like Nashville and Austin have like opened up. There's like this new wave of cool people that I really like. I love listening to Paul and his new record, Paul Coffin.
Oh, gosh, we have to get to Paul. All right, we'll get to Paul before we close this out. I loved your answer. It wasn't exactly rapid fire. But
I'm so sorry.
It was great because I love the story behind it, and you're full of great stories.
I'm not good at rapid fire.
What's your pet peeve?
My pet peeve. Excuses.
Excuses.
Can't stand them.
Don't be late.
You ever heard a rumor?
I am late, but don't make up an excuse about it.
At least you're honest.
Have you ever heard a rumor about yourself?
Oh, God. I thought I just did with the burrito with the onions in it.
But it really happened.
Yeah, it's true.
All right, so...
I got one.
All right.
Favorite fast food when you're on the road.
Fast
What
food?
do you have to get if you stop?
Oh, well, if we're in the West, it has to be In-N-Out Burger.
Okay.
But if we're on a national level, it's either the Waffle House or it's Taco Bell.
I'll be.
Guilty
There's
pleasure.
Where that burrito came from.
Well, all right. So I had texted a mutual friend of ours. And this may be obvious because he just came up. Things about you that other people might not know, something funny. Do you want me to read what this individual wrote, or would you like to read it?
No, you should read it out loud.
Okay. This person says, tall glass of water and she can burn herb with the best of them. Don't fuck with her dogs. She is beautifully trailer trashy.
Great. Yeah, edit this. Be careful.
She gave me a stick and poke tattoo and hit a vein. I'm forever bruised by Nikki Lane.
Ah, man, that's a rhyme.
That's really good.
Nikki, you need to write that down.
Oh,
Write
my
it.
God. Forever bruised.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. We're, of course.
I love that individual, and I'll tell you, I told the crowd last night I've been singing a new song that I wrote with them by accident. He and Johnny were trying to write a song. They were writing a drinking song right after my buddy passed away, and I changed it up and made it a crusher because I couldn't write about drinking that day. I was like, damn, you guys got to get. They're like, what do you think should happen next? I was like, oh, you could acknowledge that my friend just fucking died.
Yeah.
You jerks. Like writing about like whiskey in the living room. I was like, get out of here. So we wrote a song, One More Drag, which is about getting stoned with my buddy one more time.
You might have a new line, though, with that. It's forever bruised.
Forever bruised.
Maybe.
Maybe you and Paul should write that. We're talking about Paul Coffin.
Yeah,
of
Paul
course.
Coffin.
Yes.
Texas
Man,
Paul called me yesterday.
there's
Actually,
only one song I can write with him. Mouth of the South. That's the song that we need. It's going to be a duet because we're going to be arguing about who is the mouth of the South, probably.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, we could go on forever and ever and ever and do this.
Dear.
But thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Oh,
yes.
brother, I keep hitting
And
that.
we did check the computer a while ago. We have been rolling. The screen went black a while ago, and it kind of freaked
It
me
would
out.
be so funny if we were just talking about
If we were just
ourselves.
sitting here talking and nothing happening. But Nikki Lane, all right. Websites, I know.
NikkiLane.com.
NikkiLane.com.
HighClassHillbilly.com.
Hillbilly.com.
And you're
Do you stagecoach?
Yes, we're in an
2
off
years ago?
year.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I know. I was
Yeah.
chatting. I think you're.
Isn't that the best fest? Like one of
It's
the best?
amazing. And you know that I've had a stage there for 3 years and Marketplace. That was going to be my last thing to tell you. Is that all these?
That's where we met.
Yeah, that is where we met.
That's where I was trying to think of where we met today.
See, Stacey V's the shit. She
Because
gives us that cool Palomino
you had
stage.
had a stand out there, and I knew you were out there, and we were playing.
Oh yeah, and they said to come over and visit y'all.
That was a night with Marty.
Yeah, and we
I
came to
said,
visit you.
I said I want to meet Nikki Lane, and I don't know who it was that
remember.
went to get you or
I think
whatever.
it was Stacey.
Okay.
Your booker.
Yeah, and
Or Shane.
yeah. Oh, and then okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to think about that. All
Yeah,
day.
that's awesome.
Yes.
That's exactly. So I'm doing that. I'm going out to play again this year, but we have our stage, and now I got up to 25 young artists. So I'm getting like really cool up and comer country
That is
kids coming
super
out
cool.
and playing on the stage.
You have your own stage.
So
Told
you got
other projects.
So you got
Yeah.
NikkiLane.com.
HighClassHillbilly.com.
What is your? That's the boutique. Or
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
Okay. HighClassHillbilly.com.
Yep.
Instagram, Nikki Lane.
Nikki Lane 77.
Oh, set.
Everyone thinks I was born in. Were you
No,
born in 79?
no, I'm not that old.
How old are you? 81?
I was 80.
80?
Yeah.
I like it. I'm 83.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, see,
everybody thinks I was born in 77, but I
Yeah.
wasn't. It was my dad's motocross number. It was my apartment number growing up as a little kid.
Okay.
It's my lucky number. They don't have it on the roulette board, though.
No, 77.
17's my roulette number.
17?
Mm-hmm. And 00. I put lots of money on 00, and I get mad. I think there's no way that I could physically win back the money that I've bet on 00.
You're not hitting that.
Oh, I hit it all the time, and
Oh.
it pays out. And I got 10 on there, so I'll make a fortune. But But it's you got to cover the zeros because when in roulette, when you don't hit or when it hits that, everybody loses.
Yes, scan the
So
zero.
you always got to cover it. But I think I've covered it so much that I'll
Scan
never.
the zero, double 0 to 1.
You're right.
You're scanning it.
You're exactly right.
Well, that was very fun.
Well, thank you
I'm gonna
again.
listen. I know it's rude to take your hospitality gift that I bring in, but I'm taking this Patron. You
No,
gave me this Patron last night.
that is
I'm
yours.
taking it back to my
Yeah.
van to drink it
That is yours.
after my set.
Well, it's nice to meet you
yes.
I met you at the first time.
I know.
You discredited it. You were like, oh, I was out at the merch. I pay attention to the merch more than anything.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good.
Hey, thank y'all for listening. This is going to be fun. We're going to try to have it out pretty quick. Playing tonight in Waco, Texas with Tennessee Jet, Nikki Lane.
Last
and,
full band show of the year.
Last full band show of the year, and couldn't think of any cooler people to end the year with than my good friends Tennessee Jet and Nikki Lane. So thank you again, Nikki.
Thank you. See
You're
you again.
awesome. All right, see y'all.